I'm going to take a really unpopular stance here today, but it needs to be taken. Today, let's talk about the role of fathers in relationships with their kids. Your long-term adult relationships are strongly impacted by your relationship with your father. But you wouldn't know that if you read a psychology textbook today. Yes, a lot of them focus on your relationship with your mother, but so does our society. Our society is really, really big about the role of mothers and downplays the role of fathers. In fact, I remember through graduate school raising issues with my professors and my university because our psychology textbooks talking about attachment and the formations of relationships focused on mothers. There was an entire chapter on mothers. Do you know what fathers got? They got half a page. Half a page about how your relationship with your father may impact your family system. Half of a page for one half of your parenting system. Does that sound bad to you? It sounds pretty bad to me. In fact, through my research, fathers are equally important in the formation of relationships with with kids, just as much as mothers. Is that surprising? Well, your mother gives birth to you, but your father is there. If fathers didn't happen, then the majority of mass shooters would not come from fatherless homes. Have you seen the statistics on fatherless homes? They are brutal. Fatherless homes tear people apart. Fatherless homes are one of the biggest problems. In fact, one of the best things you can do as a predictor of health for your children and their long-term lives is to have a loving family system bonded with two married parents, biological parents for those children. It's one of the best predictors of outcomes for the mental health of those children and their long-term lives. That's fantastic. Do that, but we don't, because we downplay the value of fathers for a number of reasons. What does your father teach you in your life, though? Well, he teaches you about directness often. He teaches you about difficulty, confrontation. He teaches you about toughness. He teaches you about being there for you during challenges. See, men tend to bond best with vasopressin, and fathers, most of them, don't bond with their children until they can teach their children something. Here's a little known secret that very few people tell first-time fathers is you may not feel connected to your child. You will love your child, but you might not feel connected to them. At least not until they are able to learn something from you. Once you can teach your children, most men feel very bonded and connected to their children, sometimes for the first time in their entire life, and it shocks them, and it's wonderful. This is learning something. This is introducing a little bit of stress and resolving it together as a team. Vasopressin bonding. Vasopressin bonding is incredibly important, and people who don't have good relationships with their fathers often have a difficult time vasopressin bonding because they oxytocin bond maybe with their mom, if they even do that. See, it's not just that your father is important. It's important that your father and mother have a good relationship and they model that for you. And then you bond with your father and receive security. Yeah, we live in modern day therapy world and welfare world. And I don't say that as a bad thing. It's good to have safety nets. But those safety nets have not existed for the majority of human species. In our history on this planet, fathers were protectors. Fathers were often providers. Yes, mothers were there working hard to take care of them, but fathers just as much. A child with no father can grow up in very dire circumstances. And that exactly is why our brain freaks out if our father is absent. I've worked with so many people through the years as a therapist and now as a coach, working on attachment and relationships whose fathers weren't there for them, and they live lives of fear. Yes, they grew up with their mother. Yes, some of them had good relationships with their mother. Some had terrible relationships with their mother. But the unifying factor was a bad relationship with their father because he was gone or a jerk or mean or just acted completely unloving, or he was weak and broken and absent and afraid and pulling away and never protected them. And all of that leads to massive fear. If you have a good, loving father, then there is so little fear in that person's life because they know that they can handle it. Because that father probably has trained them to be pretty strong and resilient, and then that person goes forward into other relationships seeking mutual support and mutual care, knowing that it's possible to have it. It's not that they're a baby forever. It's that they now know that they can bond with other people and accomplish tasks with people instead of having to do everything on their own. Big lesson change. Very big lesson change. So your father dictates a lot of the health of your adult relationships. Now, we make jokes about this with women, right? Daddy issues and believing that she has to earn approval from everybody because it was never enough for her own father. Guys with bad fathers turn into avoidant guys, right? Who get used and abused and acted upon. Their father acts upon them over and over and over and over like an authoritarian. So the guys become avoidant of saying, I don't want to be around people. I'm not going to let people push me around. I'm not going to. And then they don't let anybody get in close and tight with them because their father has acted upon them so harshly. Or if their father abandons them, they always wonder why. Why was I not good enough for Dad to keep me? What could I have done different? How could I have been a better kid? How could I have earned his love? Why? Why did he leave me? That is a huge question for a small child to have to answer. And that's just not one that kids should have to answer. Why did Dad leave me? Why wasn't I good enough? Well, it wasn't your fault, but we don't know that. See, fathers are supposed to be there from day one. Fathers are supposed to be there from day one. Your child comes out, if you've loved the female partner, a child comes out knowing the father's voice, more or less. My children come out knowing my voice. When I speak, they stop and they listen as soon as they're born. I've got 4 kids of my own. And when they come out, they know my voice. They have to learn that they can trust me and that I'm safe, but they know my voice. They're used to me, and they're not used to me screaming. They're used to me talking and laughing, and they know my laugh because I'm a pretty laughable guy, to be honest with you. I laugh, and they know my laugh, and they respond to it because they've heard it for 9 or 10 months in the womb. They've known my voice. As long as they've had ears, I should say, they've known my voice. Imagine if I was suddenly gone. Imagine if I was suddenly gone when they were 2 years old. A lot of dads get up and leave shortly after a child is born, within the first year of that child's life. All of a sudden, this male figure that was here and here and here and here, biologically, knowingly kept us safe, is gone. What does that mean? Why? Why? What did I do? Why didn't he take me with him? Why didn't he stay? Well, the child's brain doesn't say, oh, Dad had mental health symptoms. Man, Dad had his own attachment issues. Dad was avoidant. He ducked out because it got... No. The child's brain says, me. I wasn't good enough. Why? This is what we go forward and try to answer in our relationships. How many people have you known in your life who have gone forward in their relationships trying to figure out how to make people love them and keep them and stay around them and not be abandoned or not trust them? How long have you seen that? How many times have you seen that? My big question to you right now as you're watching this is, and my pinned comment below, please drop me an actual answer for this. What's your relationship with your father like? Most people say, well, now it's good, but when I was growing up, it was this, but it should be great now because I fixed. No, you were growing up in a very difficult situation where you didn't get his love. It could be good now, and I hope it is, and I hope you fixed it. But if you've really deeply, completely fixed it, you may not have fixed the attachment issues that may have come from that difficult relationship with your father. See, the research shows that a large percentage of the adult population has attachment issues. That is a lot of fathers out there who have their own attachment issues and don't know how to bond, don't know how to talk, don't know how to connect to their kids. Remember, I talked at the very beginning of this about how new fathers, often don't bond to their children until they can teach them something. That might take 6 months. That might take a year. What happens if a father has attachment issues and then doesn't connect to his child and thinks it's his fault, so pulls away and never fully connects to that child, and the father feels worthless himself and the child feels worthless themselves, and both sides feel worthless and never know what to do about it? So there's just constant anxiety and uncertainty. Does that describe you? That describes a lot of people out there who say, I'm anxious and I don't know why. I have a good family who loves me. I mean, we're not super close, but we're fine. Your father determines so much of the health of your relationships. And if you're a father right now, I want to give you that encouragement, is you do determine so much of the health of your children and their mental health long-term, the health of their relationships, their bonding, their romance, their dating behaviors, not solely and completely. Yes, the mother is there and is very important, but so are you. Don't let these textbooks where moms get a chapter and you get half a page. Don't let society where mom gets a chapter and you get half a page. Don't let anybody dictate to you and say that you don't teach your children anything and you don't matter. You matter so much. Fathers matter so much in the upbringing of a child's life and the long-term outcome of a child's life. Fathers are incredibly important, and we as a society are going to have to come to terms with this because it's absolutely vital that we get children and fathers reconnected in healthy ways with good attachment and love and care and dignity on both sides and get those bonds back, because only then are we going to build a healthier world for our children and grandchildren. So drop me a comment below on the pinned comment about your relationship with your father. I want to hear that. Please subscribe, leave me other comments, share this video with somebody in your life who is a father or has a difficult relationship with their father, or maybe is a mom that needs to hear this message, because we need to spread awareness of fathers and their ultimate role in creating attachment in their children. Healthy attachment or unhealthy attachment? That's the question. Please follow me, comment, and check out the links in the description below. I have a ton of resources for fathers who are looking to fix their own attachment so you don't pass on attachment issues to your own children. We can get this fixed, and you can set them up for life.